A few words about knowing. Not much because knowing about this movie called Knowing, um, one is tempted to dismiss it. Indeed, one critic, the critics have been unhappy with it, and so is yours truly. And one said something like critics sometimes take on actors for not changing their expression during a movie. Well, I wondered about that, but this is what Nicolas Cage, is doing here. I'm not quoting, I haven't learned that by heart, but I thought it funny, and I think it's um, words to that effect. I'm paraphrasing pretty much correctly. Nicolas Cage, one of the, we have to check the 200 movies he's in. I mean, he's making movies on a roll. Placa da Colo. And again, we have to check the limit. The movies he made, I don't know, after 2010 are all garbage. I mean, if you have Nicolas Cage in the movie, you pretty much need to avoid it. That's the gospel according to me, let's say. It seemed, I mean, it's not a rumor or anything. He did have trouble with money, and then to cover his huge debts, sold the mountain of crap he accumulated. Well, not of all crap, of course. He bought antiques and things and statues and I don't know what else, everything else. So not, or maybe most of it was not crap, was just the indulgence of someone with money. But sold a lot of that, and to make money again, he accepted any role presented. And I don't know, paying more than this amount and having to do with 5 days of shooting. I'm just making this up. And he's not the only one. I understand Bruce Willis had very high demands from one point on. In that manner, I'm shooting for a couple of days, and I want a minimum of 1 million to do that. And why not? I mean, if they're celebrities, if other people pay for that, and I mean, producers, and if they take that chance, and then ultimately, if people go and watch because there's Nicolas Cage, and Bruce Willis in them, why not? But this one is about numbers. In fact, here it was translated as fatal numbers, something like that. In that, Nicolas Cage is a highly regarded professor, a scientist, really. Really would be the other way to say this, really. And stumbles upon a list which was buried and then many decades back, and so the one who wrote it couldn't know, but then what would happen. But then still he or she did, because looking at the numbers and the correspondence of incidents, accidents, disasters happening in the world, they predict, they say, on this date 81 people will die, and bingo, a plane crashes, hey, at a certain point right in front of the hero, if that's a hero, and then it gets worse. People don't believe him, and he has a colleague. Come on, but then he sees that, look, there's the evidence, there's the connection, and there's this thing still to happen, and then we have to try and avoid it, and takes his son and this woman, and indeed, as that critic said, there's only this expression, or I don't know, on his face throughout the movie. And plus, to make things worse, I understand, and I keep saying this, I talked to someone who is in the movie business, and at the sauna mentioned the fact that Cage made a few movies here because, well, they make movies here and they cost less, and then they can afford to hire Cage for 5 days and pay him, I don't know, $500,000. And he's unpleasant, to say the least. He's well, anyway, not the kind of movie you want to watch, if you ask me.